Hi there, Wayne Hedlund here with TL Sites. In this video tutorial, we're going to take a few moments and talk about how to make sure that our website is mobile friendly. Not just the mobile web, not just our cell phones, but also for our tablets. And of course, we're talking about how to do this using the Avada theme. That's the theme that I use with TL Sites here, with the web pages that we utilize. And so to facilitate the demonstration, we're going to use one of the longstanding clients that I've worked with for many years now, my good friends with Beyond Tears Worldwide. Before we dive in, just want to mention one thing before we get started. You will need to make sure that you watch the video tutorial on my website, how to navigate and edit a page with Avada. Okay, so you can find that by going to tlsites.com, support right here, going to guided support, and then how to navigate and edit a page with Avada. This is important. You need to know this information before you can dive into this tutorial here. All right, with that in mind, I'm already logged into the back end, but I'm viewing the front end of the front page of this particular site. We're going to go ahead and click Edit Live and then Edit Page and go to the back end. And when we're in the back end and we want to make sure that our page is mobile friendly and looking good for these mobile devices, what we want to do is look at this top bar, this black bar at the very top. And you'll notice this image, this little icon that looks like a computer screen. When we select that image, you'll see that we can either look at what this page will look like maybe on a tablet. So this kind of shows me what it looks like if I were looking at it on a tablet. Or I can look at it on the mobile device. And it's not going to be for every mobile device, won't be perfect, but it'll at least let you see what the general formatting is when we're looking at the data or the information on a mobile device. So at least now we know what it looks like. You'll, of course, see that it's quite different. When I toggle between this image here, I've got the Bring Hope to South Asia is a very large font right here with everything underneath. These two buttons are side by side, but when I jump into the mobile, the two buttons are up and down, above and below one another. There's space in between them, and the font here, of course, is not so massive. Same thing, as we scroll down, we can see that some things are centered here. They might not have been centered in other places. All right, so how do we go ahead and make changes or updates if for some reason something is not exactly looking the way that we want to? There are a few different ways to facilitate this. Let me go ahead and collapse our navigator and just let you know, first of all, this top container right here, I've actually created two versions of the top container. There were enough changes necessary to make this this first title, as it were, for this front page to look unique, that I felt the need to recreate it here. So the first thing we want to know is when we look at the containers or any element inside of a container, when we go into the edit, at the very bottom, you will note that there's something called container visibility. And you can see here that I basically have said the top container, the visibility is only for medium screens or large screens. Of course, right now, I'm not looking at the top container. I'm looking at mobile. So let's jump over to our medium screen, and we can see this right here and this right here. So this right here, this is showing me this top container. Of course, I could see it when I click on it. It's highlighted. But if I click on top container mobile, nothing highlights, nothing appears. We can't see that. Same thing when we go to this one. If I highlight the top container, it's actually the same information, the same data. So now let's jump back over to our mobile version and click on top container mobile, and we see it's highlighted. So let's mouse over the pencil and look down, and we can see we've turned off the visibility for our medium screen and for our large screen. Of course, if I turned that on, it would start looking a little weird. I just turned that on for the large screen. Now let's jump over the large screen, and we're going to see it showing up twice. And this data right here, we're not able to see it properly. Something's not working right? Because we turned that on in too many places. All right, so this is true for any element. So let's just jump over to our focus section right here, and we can see this teacher training icon and the information. So if I want to, I can come in here and find that. Here's our content boxes, and I'm going to go in here and teacher training, and look, I don't see any option there. See, so if you don't see that option, that means you can't decide which view it's going to be. I didn't think it would, but I thought I would at least check there. Now for the entire content box, I do have that ability right here at the very bottom. So let's go ahead and turn that off on general. So I just turned it off, and now it just says our focus, but we don't have those content boxes, which obviously we still want to see. Looking one more time, we can do it by column as well. So this column right here, this our focus, if I wanted to, I can go ahead and turn that off on the mobile or turn it on. On occasion, I will do this if there's a button or if there's a video or something that I feel that perhaps it's taking up too much space or doesn't really work on the mobile side. All right. So with that in mind, now we at least know how to turn elements on and off, but we also need to understand that sometimes we just want things to be different. So for here, this top container is just showing for my two larger screens, but I've created a brand new top container that's just for mobile. So it's one column right here, and then we can see all the data. You can see there's a separator right there showing me a separation between those. Probably a separation maybe is a little bit too high, so we'll take that down to 25, make it a little bit closer together, and I'll save my work. Of course, anytime we make changes, we want to save our work, and we're good to go. So the easy way, of course, is to just go ahead and create a new container. However, we don't want to create a new container for every single section. So we do have the ability to make some minor updates based on some more information here. So let's just pop over here to the summary and stats and open it up, and we have got two columns here, column 2/3 column, the top one, and this 1/3 column, which is showing this red these red counter boxes, right? So whenever you go into an element, let's just look at the title. If you ever see an icon that looks like, let's see if we can find one. I don't think there's, yeah, here's one right here where it says margin. Whenever you see an icon that shows a mobile, that means you have the option to create custom settings for that item. Now, with a margin, I normally don't encourage my clients to mess around with the margin too much. But for instance, if we jump over to the margin for making a difference, and we see right here, if we go to the large screen, you'll see it automatically switched to large screen over here. Now, if I want to, I can say, let's make that margin 100. It just kind of created an extra space there. And if I jump back over to my mobile, you'll see that 100 is not showing up there. So this lets us to create some more unique information, specific details and various things in order to accommodate the different views, whether we're looking at mobile or not. So anytime you see that, that is what that means. So jumping back over, and let's look at this section right here, this red section. This is actually, this would be the column, the 1/3 column, and not looking at the counter box, just looking at the entire background here. Let's jump into the pencil again, and let's say I want to look at the background, right? This background, right now, if I come over here to the image of the background, I don't see any information. If I jump over here to the mobile, I will see that it's using this red one. Because I didn't designate anything unique for the mobile side, it's going to go ahead and just assume that that image is global for any of the views. But if I want to, I could come in here and select a completely different image that's going to be for mobile, right? So that image right there obviously is different. And then we jump back over to our larger image, and it's this red image. So whenever you see this little icon, it basically is going to let you create some unique views to try to accommodate what you're looking for that particular segment in the mobile orientation. All right, so I think that explains the basics. I'll mention one more item that may be important for people to understand, and that has to do with the order of items. So when we're looking at a PC view, we tend to have columns. So for instance, this section has two columns right here, the making difference column, and then this box right here that's showing my counters. And that's great. But of course, when we jump to mobile, mobile tends to take almost all of the columns, and mobile tends to push them into one column. So we see now this is one column and this. Now sometimes the WordPress or the theme doesn't actually put the columns in the order that we want. For instance, what if I actually want my counter boxes to show up before this column? In other words, maybe I want everyone to see these boxes first and then this content second. So right now, this is the first on my list. It's the first 2/3, and this is the second third of that entire section. So what we can do again is just go into the column in question, and you'll notice here as we scroll down, actually go to the second tab, and if we scroll down, it says order, and I see I have the ability to create a specific order. So if I want to, I could say, I want this section to be order number 2, and then we'll jump over here, and you'll see it already made the change, but we'll pop over to this section here, this red section. I say I want this one to be order number 1. Now you see that the theme has changed it, and now we're seeing this top bar, we're seeing the red bar, and then this, because we changed the order, right? The order of it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back to 0, and we'll pop this 2/3 back over to 0 as well. So when they're both in the default zone of 0, 0, then it's going to go ahead and do it based on the order that you see over here in the left navigation pane. All right, so that's one other item that you'll want to make note of. And other than that, I think that this kind of gives you at least a high-level understanding of how to make updates on the mobile side for your WordPress websites built with the Avada theme. I hope you found this information meaningful and helpful. If you ever have questions, of course, don't hesitate to reach out to us at tlsites.com. Have a great day. Bye now.